As embarrassing as it is to admit it, it's true. I've been living in France for 1.5 years and I don't speak French. So I'm going to be talking about how hard it was for me to navigate this country and my life here, and the truth about how hard it actually is to live in France without speaking French. So, in terms of general life, I think not speaking French has been problematic. I wouldn't say no, but I I always got around it. Either people spoke English, or sometimes I just used Google Translate to get my thoughts across. But it hasn't been the most efficient and convenient way, but it is what it is. So I am currently living in a small city called Grenoble in France. It's a very student city. So that's probably why there are a lot of people that speak English here, at least a little bit, at least some broken English. But nevertheless, it's not true that all French are rude. I personally don't agree with that, because people in this city especially have always gone above and beyond with helping international students who don't speak French by speaking in English, at least trying to speak in English, because that shows how good they are at heart, and that shows how much they want us to integrate with the city. Not knowing French in France has made me feel like a side character in my own life, if that makes sense. Because I don't know the language, I haven't been able to fully thrive in my life, I would say. Especially when you go to Europe or anywhere abroad, you have this picture in your mind, the life that you've dreamt of, the kind of friends that you want to make, the kind of um, like movie like life that you are expecting to create for yourself. And when you don't speak the language of the country, I think that's one of the main drawbacks, because I feel so intimidated to talk to people because I don't speak the language. I feel l- like that has really limited my potential, because I know what my potential is and I really, really believe in my potential and my skills. But because of this language barrier, I feel like this has somewhat restricted my life. It has created some sort of barrier, and it's really hard to go across that if you don't speak the language. I'm not really sure how many of you can relate with me, but this is just something that I have always felt since I moved here. Because let it be going to the store and talking to the shopkeeper, or going to get your documents filed, or anything, right? Anything in your daily life. Um, it, I always feel nervous before I do any simple task, because I overthink about what they could potentially ask me, or what I would say if they don't speak English, or like anything, like in terms of very simple navigation in life. So, honestly, I'm so used to that feeling that I try to avoid talking to people, just to avoid that feeling. So I'm not gonna lie, it's hard, and that's exactly why I don't recommend it. I recommend that you learn the language before you go to the country, because if you have the plan that you're going to move to the country and then you're going to learn the language, it's probably not going to work out, because life gets ahead and you're just busy doing other things that are more prevalent in your life. So that's honestly the reason why I wasn't able to learn the language until now. I had enrolled in a couple of classes before I moved to France, but after I moved to France, I really did not have the time to actually learn the language. So I came to France for my master's in international business, because it's a master's course in a business school in France. I think you can expect that there's going to be a lot of work. There's going to be a lot of assignments, classwork, group projects, essays, etc. And there's just a lot to do every single day. For example, like to just give you an idea of how my daily life looks like, my classes start at 8:30 a.m. and it ends at like 4:30 p.m. Not every single day, but most of the days. I don't really have a lot of time to do other things, because after class I have a lot of assignments to complete, I have group works to get to, and then I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to eat, I have to sleep, and I really don't have much time for anything else after that. That's exactly why I don't recommend it. Your life is short. You shouldn't feel like the side character in your own story. You should be able to thrive and live happily and be able to do anything and everything and live your everyday without fear. Um, but this is my story, and I honestly regret it. I'm very guilty. I'm very embarrassed by it. I personally felt like I could do better. I honestly believe that I would probably by now have already been fluent in the language, especially because I was born and brought up in India, and I speak five languages in total, because we all know there are so many languages in India, and it's each state has a different language, and we most of the Indians speak at least two to three Indian languages. So I personally believe that I had the brain to learn languages easily, but maybe because now I'm an adult and my brain has stopped functioning, I haven't really been able to grasp this language as much as I would like to. But obviously, I'm not saying that it's impossible to learn French after you come to France. I know many people who were able to do it, who were able to juggle everything that's going on in their life and study French at the same time. But I personally wasn't able to do it. I just, I was too busy learning how to actually, live life. And because I personally had absolutely no survival skills before coming here, so I had to learn everything from scratch to live independently and do everything on my own. So it just took a lot more time for me. So I'm sure you could probably do it, but I think if you're going abroad with this mindset, this is just something that you should know. I'm just giving you a heads up, because I would like for you to learn from my mistakes, because I think this was a very big mistake that I would have liked to avoid. Because if I had spoken French, I think my life in France would have been like 100 times better. But yes, I still managed to get a lot of wonderful friends. It's been great. Everyone tries really hard to integrate and to understand each other's culture and make relationships. So, if you'd like to know any more information about my life in France or abroad, or if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.